Yep, hello there. This is Daniel Eric, or Williver, or Guillermo Gage. And now I got to make a video covering 6 days in October. That's 2025, October 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. I was hoping like Sunday morning, the 26th, just making a video talking about how I kind of screwed up um, October 25th, Saturday, October 25th, because I was feeling I was going pretty good, but then I was getting kind of hungry at work. Ah, and I have to prepare meals when I'm before leaving out the door. I gotta make a meal like Friday night prior to going to bed on a Friday. Because I have to be at work relatively early, and by relatively early, I just mean 9 a.m. Right, 9 a.m. plus like a 45-minute commute, so leave the house at like 8:15 a.m. Because because of not planning for meals, I end up getting like bored and curious. There's this period of time where I take a 30-minute break around the 4:30 mark, and then I start up work again at like 5 o'clock and work for one more hour in a different area. And they sell food there, right? They sell food in the little break room, and man, I end up eating like sandwiches, three of them, something like this. And the two little barbell chocolate bars. The barbell sugar free because it's sugar alcohol chocolate dough protein bars. See, now I'm just advertising them. No, I don't want to advertise them. But my point is that my brain gets when I know I don't possess any other food. And I don't know. I worry about like how upsetting like hungry I might potentially be if I just don't buy anything. That'll like cause me to think that I'll be extra hungry when my break is up. And so I end up eating like 1630 calories worth of these sandwiches, which they only have like 3 to 5 grams of sugar each, and so yeah, I mean they add up. I probably went over my sugar amount for that day. My point is, for example, if you take a bacon cheeseburger and dry one of those bacon cheeseburgers and throw it in the microwave there, and you take a jalapeno cheeseburger, you can take the buns off, and just take the bottom parts of the buns and combine the two meat patties, the two beef patties, the bacon from the bacon cheeseburger, the cheese from the cheese there, the jalapeno cheese from the jalapeno burger, and then the 5 jalapeno slices. You combine those into one sandwich. I think maybe I just tossed out like the round parts of the buns for the birds or something at some point. So that's why it's like 1630 calories instead of it's 1630 calories instead of like 1730 calories based on how much I think the top parts of the buns were. That was kind of tasty, and it still felt kind of degenerate, even though it was slightly creative. I could have made something like that myself at home by like buying fresh jalapeno and slice it, and whatnot. So that derails me. Eating this food makes me so sleepy when I get home, and it just led to staying up too late. It led to not doing anything, and it bled over into Sunday. On Sunday, I had the past 3 weeks. They haven't had OCIA classes. They haven't had the Order of Christian Initiation for Adults classes because they weren't going to do one on October 12th, but then the 19th and the 26th. The Bible study, OCIA leaders. His mother died, and apparently he needed 2 weeks to do this. He needed 2 weeks for the funeral, and he needed an extra week as well. So overall, the 25th, it just bleeds into for me, my productivity messed up 26th and the 27th. Just messed up. I don't think if I ate sugar, it was probably just from some fruity cereal that I have an excessive amount of it. And so I can only eat like maybe half a cup a day without going over my sugar limit, which is supposed to be 10 grams. So let's just get the rest of this done and over with. Overall, the 25th, 26th, 27th, I would have liked to make a video late at night or something on the 27th or early morning on the 28th and just explain what happened. Meal plans are so important. And actually, I do end up slightly improving with that with one of these next days. But that was the 25th to the 27th. So I work 7 days a week, right? But here's the thing: when I go into work 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on my second job, when I go into work 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. my second job, I am not taking advantage of getting up a decently early time from like 9 a.m., maybe 10 a.m. at the latest, and then 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4:45. That's like 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like 6 hours and 45 minutes. Even if I'm waking up at 10 a.m. on my days that I do my second job, that's still time to do stuff. But it's probably probably arguing on Twitter. I don't even remember what that was. But I have to align myself properly with gratitude at the beginning of the day. And remember, I didn't have my like Bible study, which sometimes can get up close to like 2 hours. It can be like an hour 45 minutes, And we probably have some catching up to do with the extra 2 weeks that we were away. So we were away for 3 weeks, but it's like a 2 weeks extra. With this guy's mother passing away. But the 28th, let's just talk about the speed run through I don't know about speed run, but let's go through the 28th, 29th, and 30th. Tuesday, the 28th, they're finally managed to do some push-ups. This happened at 9 p.m. 9 o'clock p.m. and 18 seconds. So I try to measure the exact seconds to 9:01 and 16 seconds. I only cranked out 8 AOML push-ups. So 8 push-ups plus 1 after Old Miss Lucy push-up. And I was yawning and trying to have this tiredness, this fogginess. Probably need to be actually planning out my meals with vitamin B and doing home cooked stuff and figuring out what kind of fruit, what kind of vegetables or whatever, or beans or whatever have vitamin B12. Meats I end up making a roast. I ended up making a roast on Wednesday. That was Tuesday. As for Tuesday, here's an idea of how I waste time. I get home sometime after like 6 p.m. I get home sometime after 6 p.m. and I'm really curious about something. My thing that I'm curious about is that movie that I saw, The Smashing Machine, which I still haven't I haven't posted a proper review of it. But that movie, The Smashing Machine, it ended up flopping, which I think is a bit of a shame. I end up going on the Xbox, this used Xbox One that I don't even play video games on. But it has Fandango at Home, one of those digital movie thingies that you buy and rent movies. And I was checking, I wonder if that got put on Fandango at Home yet. The Smashing Machine. And because, hey, it did flop pretty big time in its opening weekend. It hasn't been performing well. Based on its like 50-something plus $1 million budget. It hasn't made nearly enough to make its money back. And, well, it's been 3 weeks. So it's the 3rd, the 10th, 17th, 24th, and then the Tuesday after that third Friday. On the 28th, did it become available to rent? And nope, it has not. I think A24, even when they have flops, they do try to stick it out to wait a while before you can like buy it for like 20 or 25 bucks. And then later they do the cheaper rental price. But nope, it wasn't on there. But I get distracted because of I saw how do I describe this somewhat quickly? I end up seeing a little thing that was advertising a pro shot version of the story of a movie from 2005. There was a motion picture called Good Night and Good Luck. It was that Edward R. Murrow biopic thing. It was literally directed by George Clooney. They ended up making a play version of this in just a few months ago. It got put onto Broadway. So this is like one of those Broadway plays that's not a musical, right? It's just like it's basically the Edward R. Murrow type story thing, Joe McCarthy and whatnot, into that where George Clooney is playing Edward R. Murrow in this play version. They were selling for like $10 or $20 or something, a pro shot version of the play, which only runs for like an hour and 35 minutes or something. And what baffled me about it was the little advertisement they showed. Look up Good Night and Good Luck 2025 Broadway play pro shot or Broadway live. they're selling a pro shot version of a play that just came out in Broadway, like back in April or something. And they said highest grossing Broadway play of all time. What? What do you mean highest grossing? It just came out. How is this thing? It turns out apparently it's made more money in an individual week than any other play, musical or non-musical, has in the history of Broadway. I guess maybe they were just really packed seats, and they were an average ticket price of $303.25. It could just be because the inflation over the years and such, maybe, and then maybe the seats were really packed or it's really filled up well. I don't know how that managed, because it seems like a pretty mundane thing. Okay, it's a play version of an old biopic movie. But I guess it's interesting because George Clooney is playing the Edward R. Murrow character himself instead of just directing it. So anyway, that kind of triggered me because it triggered me because they have all these quotes or something about this is extra important, more important than ever. You know why they're doing that in 2025. You know why they're saying, oh, this play that's just a play version of a movie from 2005. Maybe the dialogue's a little bit different. You know why they're saying it's more relevant than ever. Anyway, had me thinking about how Joe McCarthy did nothing wrong. I literally tapped that phrase in because seeing critic blurbs that insist upon themselves for a pro shot version of a play. Yeah, I went on YouTube and typed in and did some cognitive bias thing. And I typed in Joe McCarthy did nothing wrong. I saw an entertaining video that kind of suggested that Joe McCarthy did not want to name names. Not only did he not want to name names, and he was kind of pushed into naming names, but he did not actually get anyone canceled. It was the State Department itself that did it, and something like that. And basically, he was right about everything. America did get infiltrated by communists, and we're seeing the effects of that, today. But I guess my point is, this causes me to go on YouTube. I got to remember, if I'm going to go on YouTube, don't do it on the mobile device. The mobile device cannot use the ad block. It can use ad blockers, but it can't block out the suggested videos. It can't filter that out with the extensions. It doesn't have browser extensions. So that was the 28th. The 29th was just kind of more of the same stuff. That time, my main issue was that I ended up on Twitter. I typed in the phrase Netflix boycott because I was curious about how that so-called Elon Musk trans Netflix boycott thingy was going on. And I think those types of things are kind of annoying because, like, if you don't like Netflix, because I don't pay for Netflix. I don't pay for most streaming services. Do I pay for any streaming service? I don't think I do. If you don't, though, I understand the whole like buffet thing of, you don't like to pay for a streaming service because it has content that you strongly dislike or detest. It feels like you're paying for the whole thing instead of just buying an individual movie or individual product. But it didn't seem like it really made that much of a dent. It seems like both the Disney Plus boycott because of Jimmy Kimmel and the Netflix boycott, they're kind of goofy because it's like a culture war thing. You're both doing it for like the same reason because you're morally opposed or something. And they both seemed to didn't really make a difference, because, okay, maybe they lost millions of dollars, but most people are normies who will just, they'll have Netflix or they'll have Disney Plus. Most content is not inherently left-wing or right-wing. But because I was on Netflix, I started thinking about food stamps because I'm not on EBT or anything, but apparently because of the government shutdown, they're going to not have food stamps anymore. Apparently that's a federal thing. Which I think is baffling. Then there's all this talk about, well, the food stamps are mostly in red states. But the thing about that is like, but are the people who are getting the food stamps voting Republican? Because aren't most of the red states like have a heavily black population? Is there a racial aspect to that where it seems paradoxical, but it's not so paradoxical? Government shutdown. My understanding about the government shutdown, maybe I should try to research it more, but it seems like basically the government shutdown is happening because the Democrats in the Senate want free everything for illegal immigrants, I guess. So I saw the claim. I think I can go up online and see which ones voted no and which ones voted yes to continue the government. Apparently, most of the people, the Democrats in the Senate, want to keep the government shut down because they're not getting their free healthcare and free food stamps for illegals or something. And maybe there's a bill that I can read through, but then the Republicans have mostly all voted, yeah, we want the government back on. So they didn't shut down the government. It is the people who are shutting down the government are not the party in power. The party that's not in power, apparently, is the one that's responsible for shutting down the government because they need 60 votes in Senate. Okay. Well, that was October 29th. October 30th, yeah, more junk. Apparently, for some reason I have Snapchat installed, and there's a little notification thing. I tapped that, and then I found a page that had like these silly memes. But it's like they have a funny meme. You have to keep tapping until you finally get to the last one. That dragged on for like over 45 minutes or so. That used up some time on the 29th still? Okay. October 30th, I managed to do some push-ups. I did no push-ups on the 29th. October 30th here, I did some push-ups. 8 AOML, 4 AOML. Okay, so it's just 8 AOML, 4 AOML from 11:50 and 28 seconds to 11:52 and 4 seconds. And then I eke out a little few more 8 AOML 2 push-ups. 8 AOML 2 get accomplished at 11:55 and 45 seconds to 11:56 and 52 seconds. Okay. This looks... Yeah, that was October 30th. So that was basically it. So I'm actually going to show you a video that's a little bit more positive where I end up making a roast on... I pack a roast on Thursday morning to actually give to a work friend. So here's that video. It's like an hour and... It's a minute and 30 seconds long. Yep, hello, this is Daniel Eric, or Williver, or Guillermo Gage. And I have 5 days of video journaling to do, worth of video journaling to cover. And that is going to be the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. I'm just going to do this quick little edit. Today is, again, the 20... on the 30th, it's Thursday the 30th of October, 2025, 10:40 a.m. I'm just going to quick show you something that was made yesterday. I bought a pot roast. My cousin helped me put it in the crock pot. Yep. Just while I was away at my job, and I'm doing this because the pot roast. I'm doing this because I'm giving a good chunk of it to a friend at work. So this one time it's without potatoes, but I did. It's so big I had to boil the carrots separately. There's some onion in there, and I got like a little teaspoon of this. There's a little bit of that left. So I kind of mix that in just with this little portion. I'm giving that to a friend at work, and that's an idea of what I'm doing. But I'll talk about the other 4 days. I'll continue making this video when I get home from work because I got to take off to work. So yeah, listen, I've realized that the important thing to do is either late at night or early in the morning. I just got to make a journal entry talking about what happened, good or bad, each day. Because not making the journal entries, that dragging on becomes an issue. That dragging on demoralizes me and makes it harder to eat healthy, do push-ups, and it also makes it harder for me to sit and stop and think, wait a minute, if I want to look something up on my smartphone, even though I have a working laptop, even though, I have other ways of browsing the web, I should not... Twitter, or X.com as they call it now, YouTube, when the Invidious instances don't work, Invidious is a great thing. Instead of using those, I should use the laptop PC because it has the browser extensions to make it so I don't get distracted by these suggested, posts or these suggested videos. So Right now, it's actually Halloween night. It's 9:08 p.m. I'm actually thinking of having my primary accomplishment today is I think I'm gonna watch like a Halloween themed movie or some kind of spooky, interesting movie tonight. No, we don't. I haven't gotten trick or treaters for like years. They must go to a different neighborhood or something. We must go to like a richer neighborhood. I actually do bring. Actually, no. Okay, I actually do bring. I do buy candy every year. I end up getting the sugar free. And so this is just like a once a year thing. Yeah, it's wrapped up in so much plastic. I'm gonna eco brick the plastic, but so I might pick a few every day. I'm gonna try to act as if that is sugar though, even though it's zero sugar. It's not aspartame, so it's not the worst type of sugar substitute. It's maltitol and it's stevia. But I'm gonna act as if each piece has a few grams. Anyway, oh look at that. 2 pieces of this have 13 grams of sugar alcohol. So 1 piece of this has 6.5 grams of sugar alcohol. I'm going to treat that as if it's actual sugar. Just as a discipline thing, because so I don't crave like always eating something easy and sweet. All right then. So yeah, you saw how I made the roast, and I gave that to a work friend, and he liked it. He ended up eating it up. And that was like then my cousin ended up finishing off the rest of it. I had a little bit, and yeah, I guess I liked it. All right then. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get to sleep before midnight or so. Just get up, and oh, make a meal. Even if it's like I got some pasta I can make. I'm down to like the last banana. And the last apple. But find something in the house that I can just cook up and have it already be cooked up and put it in one of these containers. Ooh, yep, I gotta lift this up so it's not just my nostril. And use these containers and such to have lids. And then put something in my lunchbox with normally has just water in it. And bring something to work for Saturday. Remember last Saturday, I ate so much of those sandwich junk foods, basically. And if I bring something, I might not even be hungry because I'm like, whatever, I might not even be hungry anyway. But bringing it will make me not think about buying food at work. Because again, that was like $20 for those 3 sandwiches and those two chocolate dough protein bars. All right then, because tomorrow is going to be November. And I want to get my life back in order. There's things I want to do and do creative stuff on YouTube rather than this rambling where I'm being very vague about like my life. I just basically tell people that I go to work and I go back home and I just spend time on the internet and regret it and argue over current events and whatnot. And I want to show an interesting life. I did, of course, have a period of time where I grew green beans in the garden. I used to grow much more than green beans, and next year I'm going to try to grow much more than green beans again. The peas, the carrots. I guess that'll be for next year. So, and then hey, we're going to go back to the OCIA, like a OCIA program, which involves a lot of Bible study. On Sunday, we're getting back to that. And if something happens with that, I'm gonna also, read more of the Bible here, and do more things. Read, write, draw, do things with my life. All right then. Bye for now. This is one of my longest videos I've made, so bye for now. I'm gonna pray for a good sleep tonight. And then it's gonna be November. All right then. Bye for now. And tomorrow's I'm gonna do the push-ups. Yeah, I might not be able to eke out any push-ups tonight. But I'll if I watch anything interesting, that's gonna be my journal entry for covering Halloween. All right then. Bye for now.